During the construction of the world's deepest diving pool in Dubai, when a 45-meter tunnel was dug into the ground, a unique problem blocked the engineering team's progress. It was discovered that Poland had recently opened a diving pool named Deep Spot with a depth of 45 meters as well. Clearly, if Dubai wanted the world record for the deepest pool, they would have to make it deeper, at least 60 meters. However, this task, though it sounded simple, proved to be quite challenging. Experts calculated that if the pool's depth was increased to 60 meters, the groundwater pressure could easily push it upwards. It was similar to how a filled water bottle stays at the surface of a water tank because the buoyant force from the water pushes the bottle upwards. In other words, the entire pool could potentially lift up from the ground at any time. At this point, it seemed like Dubai's dream of building the deepest pool was doomed. But then one idea changed everything. When it comes to world records, Dubai is the first name that comes to mind. With 425 Guinness World Records, Dubai is currently #1 in the Middle East, and it seems like the rulers of Dubai don't want to lose that position. One more addition to this library of records came at the request of Prince Sheikh Hamdan bin Rashid Al Maktoum. This is how the world came to know the Deep Dive Dubai. Deep Dive Dubai is not just a pool, it is a strange world of its own. At 197 feet, 60 meters deep, it is the world's deepest pool containing about 14 million liters of water, equivalent to 6 Olympic swimming pools or enough water for 90,000 people to use in one day. The pool has a sunken city theme, where divers experience something that was once unimaginable. To keep the water clean, a system developed with NASA's help purifies 14 million liters every 6 hours, no matter whether the outside temperature is 50 degrees Celsius or 20 degrees Celsius. The water temperature is maintained at 30 degrees Celsius, ensuring the comfort of divers at all times. However, what makes Deep Dive Dubai truly special is its engineering marvels. The engineering community believes that building Dubai's deepest pool is nothing short of a miracle. So what challenges did the engineering team face during its construction? Let's take a quick look without wasting time. The first challenge was planning and design. Crown Prince Sheikh Hamdan wanted a design that would reflect Dubai's cultural values. Before oil and tourism, Dubai was famous for pearl diving. Professional divers would dive without scuba gear into the open sea to find seashells, extract pearls, and sell them. A large portion of Dubai's economy depended on pearl diving. With this in mind, the design of the pool was made to resemble a seashell, which would look like an open shell on the seashore when viewed from a distance. But that was just the exterior. The real challenge was how to create the world's deepest diving pool inside this structure. Engineers and architects from all over the world were invited to come up with realistic ideas for the project. The easiest idea was to build a 45-meter tall building and fill it with water. But there was a problem. The requirement for the world record was that the pool not be above the ground, but below it. Additionally, since Dubai is such a hot city, if the pool were built above ground, the heat from the atmosphere could affect the water temperature inside the pool. Sheikh Hamdan wanted a pool where both its design and depth would make people talk. So the decision was made to dig the world's deepest diving pool underground. A shaft would be dug vertically, not horizontally, and this marked the beginning of a new challenge: excavation. The engineering team's challenge was to dig a shaft that would be 65 feet wide and 147 feet deep. Not only did they need to dig the shaft, but they also had to build a wall around it to prevent it from collapsing. This wall was called a diaphragm wall in engineering terms. A special excavator was brought in to dig a trench as wide as a pillar to a depth of 147 feet. Then steel cages were placed and concrete was poured. In this manner, the diaphragm wall was constructed in small chunks. This process took over 2 months to complete. After that, excavation work began. The plan was to dig 5 meters at a time, down to 45 meters, where the diaphragm wall would stop. However, after just the first 5 meters of digging, a new challenge emerged: dealing with groundwater. After the diaphragm wall was built, excavation began, and just 8 meters down, water started seeping into the tunnel from the ground. Because the diaphragm wall was built in chunks, there were small gaps between them, allowing groundwater to seep through and accumulate in the tunnel. Without managing the groundwater, continuing excavation was impossible. To deal with this, pumps were installed to continually drain the water, allowing excavation to continue. Over the next 2 years, excavation continued, with pumps running non-stop. In total, 45,000 tons of soil, sand, and rock were removed from the site. Once the excavation was complete and the pumps were turned off, the tunnel began to fill with water again. It was then necessary to waterproof the diaphragm wall thoroughly before the pumps could be shut off. Waterproofing the diaphragm wall, the tunnel excavation, and preventing groundwater took over 3 years. By this point, the engineering team was significantly behind schedule. Every day mattered. But then, a new problem arose. Once the diaphragm wall was ready, excavation was complete, and groundwater was under control, the team learned that a diving pool named Deep Spot had recently opened near Warsaw, Poland, with the same depth of 45 meters. This news hit the deep dive team hard because all their efforts had been aimed at breaking a world record. Normally, details of such projects are kept secret, and that's what had happened here. When this news reached the Crown Prince of Dubai, he ordered that the depth of the pool be increased to 60 meters to still break the world record. But there was a problem. Groundwater was already present 8 meters underground, and it extended all the way down to 45 meters. This groundwater would exert an upward force on the entire pool, known as buoyancy. The engineers had already calculated the buoyancy force to balance the pool's water, but increasing the depth by 15 meters would increase the buoyancy force, making it possible for the pool to rise from the ground. The entire construction came to a halt. It was critical to find a solution. After much research, a solution was found. The tunnel would be extended by an additional 15 meters, but the diameter of this new section would be half that of the original 45-meter diameter. This would reduce the area of buoyant force. Secondly, an under-reaming base would be created beneath the tunnel. This technique involves inserting an anchor-like structure beneath the foundation to keep the entire structure grounded, just like how an anchor holds a ship in place. With these changes, the depth of the Deep Dive Dubai pool was extended to 60 meters, and the project became eligible for a Guinness World Record once again. However, challenges were far from over. Keeping the 60-meter tunnel empty of water was dangerous because buoyancy could still push it up. The solution was to fill the pool with 14 million liters of water, but there was a problem. Dubai's water supply authority could only provide a limited amount of water, and filling the pool at this pace would take up to 3 months. To meet the deadline, over 100 water tankers were brought in along with the water supply authority's help. Even with this effort, it took a month to fill the pool. Before the water was added, the theme of a sunken city was created inside the pool, and only then was the water added. After filling, more challenges arose, such as materials rusting and some items floating. These were fixed by adding extra weight to prevent them from floating. Finally, after all the finishing touches were completed, the Deep Dive Dubai was opened to special guests in 2021 and then to the public in 2022. The total cost of the project has been kept secret by the Dubai government as they consider it a priceless achievement. What do you think about this project? Let us know in the comments section. We hope you liked this video by Aramis, so don't forget to like and share it. See you in the next amazing video.